Congressional lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are pushing the Justice Department to condemn insular cases. These cases have helped shape the rights or lack thereof for people living in the U.S. territories. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
From 1901 to 1922, a series of Supreme Court cases helped shape the landscape for people living in the U.S. territories. The series of cases are known as the Insular cases.
The Insular cases have served as a justification for the denial of civil and political rights to people deemed by the racist, segregationist Supreme Court of the early 20th century unfit to enjoy the full rights of American citizenship, although they take on the full responsibility.
While people in the U.S. territories are U.S. citizens, they don't have the same rights as those on the mainland. For example, they're denied the right to vote for president and access to SNAP and supplemental security income benefits.
Seeing the effects of the colonial legal framework, the living effect, the actual effect of these cases in the lives of people in Puerto Rico. We could see it clearly after Hurricanes Irma and Maria, where the disaster response left a lot to be desired. And even we had a report come out from the U.S. Commission of Civil Rights about the discriminatory treatment of Puerto Ricans after the hurricane.
In a letter signed by bipartisan members in both the House and Senate to Attorney General Merrick Garland, is asking the Justice Department to recognize the racist logic in the Insular cases and reject this case law. Members say these cases broke from the anti-colonial values of our nation's founding. Members write that the Supreme Court held that the Constitution does not apply in full to so-called unincorporated U.S. territories whose inhabitants, it declared, could permanently be denied any democratic rights or self-determination.
Have stood for the proposition that the Constitution does not apply in full to so-called unincorporated U.S. territories, and that because they are inhabited by alien races, that's a direct quote, and, quote, savage tribes, they should not have the full benefits of U.S. citizenship.
In a 2022 court opinion, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote that the Insular cases have no place in our Constitution, adding that the Insular cases rest on a rotten foundation. He also writes he hopes the day comes soon when the court squarely overrules them.
Overruling the Insular cases will not magically solve the colonial problem that the United States has.
Advocacy groups say failing to denounce the Insular cases will lead us to continue to see more of the same outcomes in the future.
Reappealing these cases, although it would not change anything immediately, it will have an impact on the obligation that public officials and politicians have to solve this unilateral colonial relationship with the territories. It will kind of crumble down this wall that has been impeding or justifying inaction for years and years.
In Washington, Rachel Knapp, Erie News Now.
Thank you for that report, Rachel. The Justice Department tells us they've received the letter but will not comment further on it. In 2022, the Supreme Court decided to not take up a case that would reconsider the Insular cases.